Hi students, we have to pass on to the next unit, that is unit number 13, structural organization of animals. So in this chapter, we have to study the morphology and anatomy of certain animals. One example from invertebrate, another example from chordate. You know, the entire animal kingdom is classified into chordates and then invertebrates. Chordates with backbone, invertebrates without backbone. Now let us take the example coming under invertebrates, that is a cattle leech, structural organization of cattle leech. Now the cattle leech belongs to the phylum Annelida. It belongs to the phylum Annelida. If we are observing the taxonomic position, that is a systematic position, to which phylum it belongs, to which order it belongs, like that. So it belongs to the phylum Annelida. Here, in the case of annelids, the body is divided into many similar segments called metamerism. That's why it's being included under this one. Now, class Hirbinia. So the animals actually have some substance in their saliva called hirudin. This is an anticoagulant present in the saliva to prevent the coagulation of the blood while the animal is sucking the blood. So belonging to the order Nathobdella, or Nathobdellidae, or Nathobdellida. Then genus Hirudidaria granulus. This is the taxonomic position of, that is, the animal leech. Now we have to go for the habit, the habitat, the segmentation, the colorizing, size and shape, the receptors and the suckers present in the animal one by one. Now, if we are taking the external morphology, I am representing two views. One, the dorsal view, another one, the ventral view. Now, first I will take the habitat, the place of living, habitat, where it lives. The place of living is called habitat. So normally this animal is called cattle leech, found in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka and also Myanmar. It is found living in what is called the fresh waters like ponds, lakes, swamps and also slow streams. That is about the habitat. What is its habit? What is its habit? The habit refers to the mode of living. Now it is an ectoparasite, sucking the blood from the fishes, frogs or humans. So these are all the blood eaters, and such animals which are feeding on blood are called sanguivores. Sanguivores. So we hear the words, you know that one carnivore, herbivore, etc. It is an example for sanguivore, a blood-sucking and blood-eating animal, and that is called sanguivorous mode of feeding. This is what is called the habitat, the place of living, and habit, the mode of living. Let's go for other characters regarding the external morphology. The size and shape. Size and shape. Now the animal is about 35 centimeter long. 35 centimeter long. It is normal, soft, vermiform, worm-like, elongated and segmented. Soft, vermiform, elongated and segmented. So the body is divided into many segments metamerically, about the length 35 centimeter long. When it is fully extended, the animal is ribbon-shaped. When it is fully extended, at the time of feeding the blood, the body is being elongated, extended. At that time, it is ribbon-shaped. When the animal becomes contracted, it becomes cylindrical in shape. Either ribbon-shaped when extended, or cylindrical in shape when what is called contracted. So that is about the size and shape of the animal, cylindrical or ribbon shape. What is the coloration? What is the coloration? What is the color of the individual? So dorsally, olive green in color, olive green in color. Ventrally, that is what is called red yellow. or yellow red. I can say this way, yellow red, or orange red. Yellow, red or orange red in color ventrally. That's about the color of the animal. Dark green, that is olive green color, that is dorsally. Ventrally, either yellow red or orange red in color. Now about the segmentation. I mentioned already the body is divided into many segments. The body is divided into many segments by metamerism. The body is metamerically segmented. What's the meaning for metamerism? The linear division of the body into many segments. All the segments are alike, and each segment has a representative part of all the systems. This is called metamerism. Simply we can say linear division of the body into many segments, and all the segments are alike. That condition is called metamerism. So the body is divided into 33 number of segments. The number of segments present is always constant. 33 segments. The segments are metamerically segmented. Again, each segment is further divided into, actually superficially divided into ring-like structures called rings or annuli. Rings or annuli. Now this is one segment, and each one, this is called annulus. So each segment is further divided superficially into many ring-like structures called rings or annuli. Now the first segment and the last segment, like that we have. That is about what we call the segmentation. Metamerically segmented, the number of segments 33. Each segment is superficially divided into rings or annuli. Now anterior few segments and posterior few segments are modified into circles. Now the next one, the receptors. What are the receptors present in that one? Receptors. So on the surface of the body, we have some sensory projections. These sensory projections are called receptors. Now the receptors found in leech are 5 pairs of eyes. 5 pairs of eyes. Dorsally. Then in each segment we have the receptors, and they are divided into number 1, annular receptors. Annular receptors. Number 2, segmental receptors. Segmental receptors. So the sensory projections present on the surface of the body, they are called as receptors. They are of annular receptors. These receptors are present in the annulus. In all the annuli, we have the annular receptors. What I represent the dots. You see that one, these are all annular receptors. These are all the annular receptors. And segmental receptors, those receptors which are found in, that is in each segment, in the first annulus of each segment, they are called segmental receptors. So annular receptors are present in all the annuli, whereas the segmental receptors are only pair found in each segment, that too in the first annulus of each segment. Now what I represented, these are the eyes, 5 pairs of eyes which are found in the first 5 segments. Then there is about the receptors. Now we have to go for actually the sulcus. Now the animal has 2 types of sulcus. The animal has 2 types of sulcus. Now these are the receptors. Annular receptors. Or we can say this one is an example of segmental receptors. Present in each segment, in the first segment. Segmental receptors. Now there are 5 pairs of eyes. See, I represented the red one. 5 pairs of eyes present in the first 5 segments, 1 pair to each. Now we have to go for the sulcus. There are 2 sulcus, one at the anterior end called anterior sulcus, ventrally. This is anterior or oral sulcus, present ventrally. The mouth is a triradiate structure found in the middle of anterior or oral sulcus. The white shaped one that represents what is called anterior mouth. It is a triradiate structure. So anterior circle is formed of, that is 5 segments. Now whereas the posterior circle is formed by the last 7 segments. The last 7 segments, that is 26 to 33. 26 to 33. That is the last 7 segments. We can see normally just 26, I can see 27 to 33. Then when it becomes what is called 7. So the last 7 segments, after segments 26 is being converted into the posterior circle. Now this is the posterior circle. Now what is the role of these circles? The anterior circle is meant for feeding, whereas the posterior circle along with anterior circle is used for attachment and locomotion. Anterior circle is meant for feeding. Both the circles are meant for locomotion and for attachment at the time of locomotion. Now, we have the anal opening present in the 26th segment. Now this is anus. The anus is present in the 26th segment. The mouth is present in the first segment, or we can say in the first 5 segments within the actually just the circle. Now I have to go separately. What are the openings formed in the case of such animal, the leech? External apertures. I want to take separately external apertures. The first one, mouth. First one, mouth. So the mouth is present in the center of the oral circle. It is a triradiate structure like this, more or less Y shape. Triradiate structure. Then the second one, so what we have actually, that is nephridiopore. Nephridiopore. These are the openings of the excretory organs, namely nephridia. So nephridia are the organs of excretion, and there are 17 pairs of nephridia. These 17 pairs of nephridia open outside through the nephridiopore. These openings are found ventrolaterally from the segments. You see that one 6 to 22. 6 to 22. So they are found in the segment 6 to 22. There is 17 pairs. Corresponding to the number of nephridia, there are 17 pairs of nephridia. Sorry, nephridiopores. They open outside from segment 6 to 22. Now this is the nephridiopore. The green structures representing the nephridiopore. That is 17 pairs from segment 6 to 22. From segment 6 to 22. Then we have the anus. I mentioned already, the anus is present in the 26th segment. This is dorsal. This is dorsal. And these are all actually ventrally. The more nephridiopores, they are found actually ventrally, whereas the anus is present dorsally, mid-dorsally in the 26th segment. Then the male genital aperture. The male genital aperture. The opening of the male reproductive system is formed in the 10th segment. Is formed in the 10th segment between the second and third annuli. Between the second and third annuli. Now this opening is the male reproductive aperture. Male reproductive aperture. Male reproductive aperture. Now the female reproductive aperture. Genital aperture or reproductive aperture. The female reproductive aperture is formed in the 11th segment. 11th segment. Now this is the female reproductive aperture. Female reproductive aperture. Now either the male reproductive aperture or the female reproductive aperture, they lie between the second and third annulus of each segment. Between the second and third annulus of each segment. Whereas the nephridiopore, it is formed normally the last annulus. It is found in the last annulus of each segment. Either the male or female reproductive apertures. They are located between the second and third annulus of each segment. So these form the openings from mouth, nephroid pore, just 17 pairs, anus in the 26th dorsally, male genital aperture and female genital aperture ventrally. So that's about the external morphology of a leech. Let us proceed further about the lessons about the cat leech. Now, what are the divisions of the body? I mentioned already we have 33 segments, constant number of segments present in leech. The first region is the cephalic region, which includes the segments 1 to 5, which contains the oral sucker, mouth, buccal cavity, etc. Now, pre-clitoral region, the region present before clitoral. So normally in the case of annulus, there is a glandular thickening formed once the animal is attaining the adult stage, that is called clitoral. It is permanently present, for example in the case of earthworm. But in the case of leech, there is no permanent clitoral. The clitoral is temporary in nature, which is formed only at the time of breeding season. So, that clitoral is formed between the segments 9 and 11. 9 to 11, 9, 10, 11 segments. And that region is called clitoral region. The region present before the clitoral region is called pre-clitoral region, the segment 6 to 8. Now, what is the function of clitoral, the one which is formed during breeding season? It is responsible for the formation of cocoon. It is nothing but a egg case, inside which only the development is taking place. So the cocoon is formed only by the clitoral, which is formed temporarily at the time of breeding between the segments 9 to 11. Now after clitoral region, we have the middle region starting from 12 to 22 segments. Then the tail region or caudal region, we have 23 to 26. Then the rest of the 7 segments are modified into posterior sucker. So we have 6 divisions of the body: cephalic region, pre-clitoral region, clitoral region, middle region, caudal region, and posterior sucker region. They are formed in specific segments 1 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 11, 12 to 22, 23 to 26, and then there is 27 to 33, referring to the posterior sucker, modified 7 segments of the posterior end of the body. Now, this is about the divisions of the body. Now we have to go for the body wall. What is the nature of the body wall? What are the layers present in the body wall? If we are making a cross section, we can have the following layers from top to bottom. The outer wall is cuticle. This is layer number 1. The cuticle is followed by epidermis. Made up of single layer of cells. Now the epidermis is followed by dermis. The dermis is formed of connective tissue. Then below the dermis, we have muscular layer. Now the muscular layer is formed of 2 layers of muscles. Outer circular muscle and inner longitudinal muscle. These are the 2 layers that is contributing the muscular layer. Outer circular, inner longitudinal. Below the longitudinal muscle layer, we have a tissue, what is called botryoidal tissue. A peculiar tissue present only in the case of leech, concerned with excretion. This bone-tail tissue is present around the alimentic node in the coelomic system or in the coelom or in the coelomic fluid. So these are the different layers from outer cuticle, epidermis, dermis. So it is formed of epithelial cells, it is formed of connective tissue, this is muscular layer formed of outer circular muscle, inner longinal muscle. Then below the longinal muscle we have a tissue, a special tissue called bone-tail tissue formed only in the case of leech. And that one surrounds the alimentic node in the coelomic fluid or the hemocoelomic fluid. So that's about the body wall, the 5 layers of body wall. Now, a few words about the locomotional movement. The animal exhibits 2 types of movement. 2 types of movement, locomotion. There is one loop-like movement. Loop-like movement. This loop-like movement is brought about by the contraction and relaxation of the muscles. The loop-like movement is being brought about on land, brought about by what is called the contraction and relaxation of the 2 types of muscles. Now, the suckers also play a major role during movement. Both anterior and posterior suckers are used for attachment during the time of locomotion and movement. So, it's a loop-like movement on land brought about by the contraction and relaxation of the muscles, and the suckers also playing a major role in locomotion by attaching themselves to the substratum during movement. Then another one what's called swimming movement. Swimming movement. So the animal leech is also able to swim very actively, that is in water. That type of movement is called swimming movement. While swimming in water, it shows what is called undulating movement. Undulating movement. So it swims in water by showing what is called undulating movement. Undulating movement means wave-like movement. That is called undulating movement. So loop-like movement on land, swimming movement where you have undulating movement because of the active movement of animal in water.